And we begin with the week that was. Let's take a look at the top stories that made headlines around the globe this morning on the morning show. We're starting in the United States. Lone opposition, Nigeria's candidate for the Director General of the World Trade Organization, that's WTO, Dr. Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala, would have been declared the winner of the race yesterday before the United States. Well, despite securing the support of a majority of members of the trade organization, the former coordinating minister for the economy and Minister of Finance of Nigeria could not be declared the head of the organization due to an objection from the U.S., which cites a lack of experience and procedural issues for his stance. Meanwhile, the WTO has released a statement on the matter.
The purpose of this meeting was for the three facilitators, led by General Council Chair David Walker of New Zealand, to present to the membership their assessment of the candidate that had the best chance of attaining a consensus of the membership. That candidate, as recommended by Chairman Walker, is Dr. Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala of Nigeria. One delegation could not support the candidacy of Dr. Ngozi and said they would continue to support South Korean Minister Yu. That delegation was the United States of America. There will be a General Council meeting held on the 9th of November, at which we hope to take a decision on this very important matter. There was a huge amount of support for the Troika, for the process that they've run. There is a complex way in which you can vote. But the voting, I think that's what John's referring to. I think the overwhelming preference of every one of our members is to decide by consensus, and consultations will be held between now and the 9th of November to try and achieve that consensus. They said that she had, by a wide margin, the most preference, that she had wide support across regions and across levels of development, LDCs, developing countries, and developed countries. They said that she had had these since the very beginning of the process.
I think 163, if I'm correct.
164.
164 out of 165 are for Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala.
Yeah.
What beats me is how you, as a lone ranger, can stop her from getting the DG.
Well, it's basically capitalized on the fact that they're the world's largest economy. However, on the 9th of November, you know, it's still, it's not one that I would say would shake a lot of people because there's still massive support regardless of what has happened. So we'll just have to wait and see what happens on November 9th. So far, what we do know is the president, that is of Nigeria, President Muhammadu Buhari, is strongly in support of, you know, Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala becoming the DG of the WTO, and he is pulling all stops. He's stopping at nothing. Even looking at the geographical area, the African group as well. This has a huge impact in terms of supporting her on this journey. So I think the votes would just be the way of saying, okay, we have fulfilled all righteousness, and right now she deserves this, it goes to her. But I think it's incredibly disappointing that personal issues would be influencing a strategic and essential decision as this, you know?
This is the second time U.S. is trying this game. They tried it with Akiwumi Adesina of the AFDB. They failed.
Yeah.
And I am sure that I'd want to wager that they will fail again. I think it's almost a done deal for Ngozi.
It is.
By 9th of November, I think the president held a virtual meeting with Michelle of the European Union yesterday, and the strategic campaign team of Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala, they are consulting even with the US of A and other European countries. They're not leaving any stone unturned to make sure that Ngozi is upbeat about still getting it. We hope for the best.
We do. This is important. It's a very important win, not just for people around the world, but specifically for Nigerian females as well. It just goes to show how far you can go. You know, you're limitless.
You can stop talking about it.
I'm sorry. I'm female. I just have to bring it in.
That's good, Gaga. Yeah, I think I agree with you.
Well, a week after it triggered a global outrage over its alleged shooting of NSAS protesters in Lagos, the Nigerian army has now broken its silence on the incident, denying that it fired at protesters. It also disputed the claim by the Lagos State Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu that he knew nothing about the troops' deployment at the Lekki toll gate, where soldiers were accused of shooting protesters for allegedly flouting a dusk-to-dawn curfew imposed by the state government. However, a statement by the acting Deputy Director, 81 Division Army Public Relations, Major Oshoba Olaniyi, which provided further clarification on the troops' deployment during the protests, categorically denied that civilians were shot at. Now, in his first reaction after the shooting, the governor had blamed the shooting on, basically forces beyond his control. Well, Governor Sanwo-Olu had granted an interview to Arise, during which he denied ordering the army to the state, saying such powers is beyond any state governor. In his words, he said, "I don't know how the officers got it all wrong, because the instruction was that police won't be out until 10:30 p.m. when all citizens should have gotten to their various homes. This is totally against what we stand for." Now, this is interesting, Andy, because I remember when, just a day after the shootings and, the videos began circulating online, the official Twitter handle of the Nigerian army captured the major headlines and debunked every single one of them. The headlines that basically stated that it was a Nigerian army that was there. They just said, we have nothing to do with this. And then, of course, we see the Lagos State governor come out to say, oh, listen, that phrase alone, forces beyond my control, puts a lot of question marks on the situation. And then, of course, it now came out that it was the army, and now the army is insisting that it was the Lagos State government. So questions like, at what point did this miscommunication happen? If at all it was the Lagos State government that asked the army to be there, why did the governor come out to say that he's not sure at what point the miscommunication happened because they were supposed to be out at 10:30? It comes off as if there's some sort of blame shifting and people just trying to exclude themselves from a certain narrative. And again, if you think about it, the army, these are subjects of the government. So at the end of the day, they really cannot act without specific instructions. So it still boils down to the fact, who gave that order?
Yeah, who gave the order? Well, frankly, there's been so many stories about this. But when I watched the video, from what I saw, number one, the army seemed to be shooting up from the videos I saw. It's now at the tribune, the panel.
The judicial panel.
Yeah. Their mandate has been expanded to include what happened at the toll gate. I also read, there was fact checks on this. One person that was said to have died during the shooting, a youth corps guy. I think
the one that was being carried.
Yeah. He came out and said, put this down. I'm alive. I'm not dead. Who is doing this? Why are you doing this? There was another girl, Lucy. Also, she had an accident, and it was said she died there. The sister came out and said, put this down. The girl had an car accident. She ran into a trailer, and her face was battered. So this is false. There was also the case of Badmus. The Badmus, the actress. Yeah,
Eniola Badmus.
Who was said to be there and was shot. Yeah. And I remember somebody asking me, is she dead? I think it was my house, either my wife or my kid. And then I was just reading then, that Badmus says she wasn't even on the ground. I think MI tweeted that Badmus was good, And so there are so many things around that. But one thing stands clear. The army shouldn't really be in civil matters. And the fact that even the curfew was supposed to start at 9 instead of 4, but they were there at 7 or so. Yeah. But the most important thing, no speculations, we'll wait until events play out by way of investigation.
Absolutely. We'll get back to this conversation shortly. Let's take a quick break. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Moving on from the conversation with regards to the fact that the army has insisted that Lagos State asked them to be at the toll gate. The truth is, people just want to know the truth about what happened. Now let's move on. Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu has said that there are plans to set up a rebuild Lagos Trust Fund as part of strategies to recover from the destruction occasioned by the hijack of the ETSA's protests. Now, the governor, who spoke at the headquarters of the Lagos Police Command in Ikeja, encouraged police personnel in the state to look beyond their losses. and carry out their duties with dignity. The governor also said police reforms will start from Lagos, and he promised to rebuild some of the destroyed facilities belonging to the police and compensate the families of the personnel lost to the violence. Now, the Lagos State Commissioner of Police said 6 personnel were killed, while 16 police stations were burned and 13 other police divisions vandalized in the violence that rocked the state.
Mr. Governor, sir, it's a known fact that the recent violence orchestrated by some hoodlums who hijacked the NSAS protests across the states, leaving some lives lost and properties valuables damaged, was a great setback in the areas of economic and social development and general security in the states. In the light of the above, Mr. Governor, the command regrets to state that the police family in Lagos State Command suffered some losses, both officially and on personal grounds. Some of our colleagues paid the supreme price during this period. Many of our officers and men lost their personal cars and other personal belongings to the violence. Same to official logistics of policing the command. Permit me to make an highlight of some of the other incidences recorded on official and personal capacities in this short table below. The police personnel will lost his police personnel. The police station will lost 16 police stations burnt by the hoodlums, while 13 police stations were vandalized. 12 police posts were burnt, while 5 police posts were vandalized. So police officers that were injured are 36 in number, while 58 police vehicles were burned and 13 police vehicles vandalized. The list will be forwarded after this, sir.
The first request that he had said is that the state government should foot all the hospital bills of the police personnel that sustains injury. Consider it done, we will foot all the bills that you might have incurred, that you are currently incurring. Just go through your DPO or your area commander and compile them and send them to the Commissioner of Police. We will deal with them immediately. The state government should consider payment of compensation to the families of the deceased. The state government will compensate all the families of the deceased on these unfortunate incidents that has befallen our state. The state government should take over the burial arrangements. We will take over the burial arrangements for the lost ones, for your officers that have fallen prey based on the incidents that has happened. The state government should consider and the replacement. He used the word carefully. He said we should consider the replacement. We will consider it. The Security Trust Fund is here. The Executive Secretary is here. We might not be able to meet you toe for toe, but we will consider it. And he's here, he's listening to me. I'm giving him directive that he needs to consider each and every of your vehicle or your motorcycle that have been burned because of this uprising. Please take it on and let us deal with it as soon as possible.
It's quite unfortunate, honestly speaking, Indy. I mean, I would simply just tag this the miseducation of a valuable cause, because the NSAS process in itself was supposed to be something that brought an end to police brutality and, of course, evolved towards bad governance. And certain people just took that same cause, channeled their anger into doing things that not only affect other people, but also affects them as well. So innocent people had their lives and their businesses just completely destroyed. It was immensely heartbroken just watching as various businesses were being looted and people were carrying ACs, generators. The one that just shocked me the most was the one that happened in Kogi, where the medical center was completely looted. And I'm just thinking to myself,
what are you doing with medical equipment?
What are you doing with it?
Even tractors in Adamawa.
Yes.
I think they said they recovered 60. If I'm correct, how many? What are they stealing?
Motorbikes in Ibadan. Tricycles.
It's not funny.
What are you going to do with it? A cold room that's supposed to be for vaccines was completely vandalized. And I'm just thinking, so immunization goes where? at this point in time.
It's a horrible situation. And when I sit back, I think I was just thinking about it when Governor Sowolo came on air and was talking about rebuilding. And I was thinking as a leader, how he will be feeling. Well, you're going to get the money. COVID, the pandemic has eaten deep into the economy of the state of the nation.
These people, that's what they want. That's exactly what those looters want. The mind of those people is they want to inflict pain and they want to inflict suffering. So they want to put them in a place where they're completely, just confused.
But the paradigm is warped because you destroy the BRT buses
that you're using. Meanwhile, the people that you're trying to affect have cars.
You destroy establishments. We're talking about unemployment. People have lost their jobs now,
of course,
and people have lost their companies before they. And I think somebody told me that somebody actually took a loan, bought a car, which I don't know how wise, but bought a car and was still paying, and his car got burnt. So it's a real mess. But
very,
I'm sure the police will be encouraged because I think I saw one yesterday on the road encouraged that they're going to get their bikes, they're going to get their cars. And then their stations are going to be rebuilt. Let's move on to the next story.
Yeah.
All right, former governor of Lagos State and Minister of Works and Housing, Babatunde Fashola, has come under intense criticism after he found a camera while on tour of the Lekki toll gate where peaceful protesters demonstrated for 13 days before they were forcefully dispersed. Well, during the assessment visit of the Lekki toll gate on Sunday by ministers and governors from the southwest, Fashola found the camera and picked it up with a handkerchief. He reportedly handed it over to the governor of Lagos State, Babajide Sanwo-Olu. Meanwhile, social media critics have reacted to the minister's discovery of a camera at the Lekki toll gate plaza. All right, well, you see, again, this is where people don't begin to speculate. He found the camera. There has to be investigation about what the camera was about. But then when I go through social media and see the talk, I'm saying, for God's sake, we must learn to give people the benefit of the doubt.
No, but Indy,
when we make comments.
With this situation of the camera, it was just too unusual. Like, Arise News was there a day after the, shooting happened at the toll gate. At no point in time it's also the position where the camera was. That's a very conspicuous position. Who could have missed it? Loma even cleaned out the area for 2 days. They cleared out the place and nothing was found. So yeah, it was just a bit conspicuous. It was just a lot of drama. The searching and the intensity. Use a handkerchief, all of that just attracted. And you know how social media gets, especially Twitter. They will come for you. So that's just what it was. And now it's become a meme. Everybody just going, and it's just like,
They've even done music, but see, that's the point. That's why the orthodox media, talking about the broadcast TV paper, we don't deal with speculation. We deal with real facts, real news.
But you understand as well that this is an uncontrolled space.
No, that's social media. I'm saying that's for social media.
Yeah.
That's for social media who can say stuff. But a camera was found, like it said, there has to be investigation before you can begin to make deductions, Well, otherwise, any deduction you're making is speculative.
Well, let's
on the basis of what he saw. Yeah.
Let's see what's found.
He's in the camera.
On the camera. Well, we're going to continue with some more stories from what happened this week. We're going to head out to a quick break here in the morning show. Stay with us. We'll be right back.